So hello everyone, welcome back. It's lovely to see you all as always. So let's start by going straight into the superpower state. So take a deep breath, close your eyes or leave them open, whichever you prefer, and go into your superpower state, however you normally do that. By using your word or phrase, using your anchor, or by focusing on your subject and everything you love and appreciate about them. And allow that feeling in your heart, allow your heart to start opening, that expansion feeling in your chest, allowing that light to shine out from you. Allow that light or energy to spread down to your toes, up to the top of your head, and out to your fingertips. So you're now full of that light, that energy, that love. Now allow that light or energy to fill each of the 50 trillion cells that make up your body. Love each cell just for existing. Very good. Now allow that light or energy to fill the little you, yourself as a child, any age. Love that child just for existing. And imagine that child being filled with that light, that energy, that power. And then allow that light, that energy to fill your whole childhood, to overflow from that little you and fill your whole childhood, loving each thing, person, animal, activity, experience, circumstance, and event, regardless, shining that light into any darkness, replacing any pain, any suffering with love. Very, very good. And now allow that light or energy to fill everyone who's on the call today, all those who are on camera, all those who are off camera today, loving each one just for existing. Very, very good. And you can open your eyes if you haven't closed. And I'm going to check in with each person now, find out how you're doing. So Lisa, you're first up on my screen. How are you today?
Oh, I'm really good. Tiara Tuesday.
Very good.
I'm going to shut off my phone really quick. Oh, sorry. Okay. Okay, so I wanted to go to zero tolerance. And so on this yearbook, this is...
Yes,
okay, so I have to promote you. Okay. The purpose of zero tolerance is to ensure that emotions don't become overwhelming. Because especially now, since all this planetary stuff, that's been really overwhelming for a lot of people, and they don't know what to do. So, and our job is to send them love, right? When we don't address something right away in the moment, the emotions build and build because the conscious mind continues to find reasons for the feelings, and that perpetuates the feelings. So as the limbic system responds to the thoughts with more of the matching chemicals, this makes it harder to address that issue and seems even impossible. So
That's
so
right.
you can go and so with that, I noticed that sometimes, you know, certain things you just keep having to, with memories keep coming up to the surface, you just keep flooding them with love until it dissipates. So it's like the exercise yesterday with allowing it to see it in front of you. That is very powerful, because I did it with my daughter last night. She goes, whoa. That's guy, whoa, it disappeared, you know.
Oh, really?
So yeah, the heavy energy left. So yeah, that's really good.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Lisa. Yeah, the more we use this new technique of the allowing first, and then it kind of transforming into unconditional love. It's a kind of doorway to unconditional love almost. Yeah, the more we use it, the more excited I am about it, because the more it seems that that is a piece that, again, another piece of the puzzle. So thank you for sharing that, Lisa. And zero tolerance, yeah, is so key. And I wasn't going to share this today, but I'm going to share it without details, just because I think that this is an opportunity, a teaching opportunity. So this morning I got some news that is not good news, and it's a perfect opportunity to pull back and observe the the natural, the automatic tendencies versus what I know and what I choose. And so I am sort of on the, riding that bicycle, and my mind and my automatic programs and everything are, I can feel that pull to the what would be expected, the response and the feelings and the emotions that would be expected, and a few some other stuff around it. And I can, because I'm using zero tolerance, and this is why I'm bringing it up. If I wasn't using zero tolerance, I would absolutely allow myself to go there. I would allow myself to think of all the reasons, all the bad things, all the possibilities, all the missed, all the regrets, all of that. And as I would do that, my brain would be pumping more and more stress chemicals in, which would amp up those feelings of regret or guilt or worry or whatever's there. And then my brain would be finding more reasons to explain these feelings, and which would create more stress chemicals. And so that's how and it's such a slippery slope. And I know we've said before about cockroaches. Zero tolerance is like, like looking out for cockroaches. Just because it's a small one or just because it's just one doesn't mean it's okay. Doesn't mean you ignore it. So the slightest negative thought is a cockroach, because it may not appear, there may not even be a lot of emotions yet, but that's exactly why it's important to catch it right now and keep redirecting. And it may be, you may be toppling off the bike a lot, but keep getting back on. And the more you do that, every time you do that, you're switching off the stress chemical tap, turning on the feel good chemical tap. So what I'm doing right now in real time, it's a perfect example, is exactly that. The thoughts pop into my head and I'm redirecting to love. I'm redirecting to the love I have, the appreciation I have, that unconditional love, loving the person, the situation, everything it means, and all of that in real time. As I'm speaking to you, I'm doing it right now. So I wanted to share that as a real life example as well. So thank you, Lisa, for bringing that up with zero tolerance. That really is so key to being able to do the rest of the work.
That's very good. Thank you.
All right, very good. And Swasti. Hi, Swasti. How are you today?
Hello. I'm good, thank you.
Good.
So I did the work you told me to do yesterday. Yeah, I think it's good now. I did come up with, things kept coming up. I kept changing them. Yeah, it was really hard, actually. It kind of felt like unreal, because my dad would never do that. He would never say well done to me, but it was changing. It just felt strange.
Yeah.
So I think that's good.
Very good. Good job. And of course, your dad wouldn't do it with the childhood he really had.
Yeah.
But if he had a different childhood, he would have absolutely done it automatically.
Yeah. So I did do his childhood and then mine. So every time this like anxiety about results came up, because my results are this Thursday, I like the exam results, the teacher predicted grades. I just use that, and that dimmed down the anxiety a lot, which is good.
Good.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, you want to say?
No, it's fine.
Okay, so I want to just address something there. So let's, for the moment, imagine that the results are bad, like worse than you expect. All right. And what happens inside you when you think about that?
I get this like tingling in my ankles.
Yes, good. And that's the adrenaline, cortisol. Okay. So I want you to imagine now just allowing that. Allow that tingling. Can you notice it as you allow it?
Yeah.
Good. And what happens as you just allow it?
It moves to like a faster heartbeat instead of a tingling.
Good. So notice the faster heartbeat and just allow your heart to beat like that, without needing to stop it, without needing it to go away or slow down or anything. Just that feeling of just going, it's okay to feel like this. It's absolutely okay for my heart rate to be this high. It's okay for the tingling. It's okay for whatever's there. And what happens then as you do that? Does it stay the same? Does it change? What happens?
I think it changes. I think it becomes less intense.
Very good. Good job. And so, because what happens is when we experience something like that tingling, like the increased heart rate, anything like that, we immediately give it meaning. And that's the conscious mind. The conscious mind immediately gives it meaning. And that's how the subconscious controls the conscious mind, because that's the agreement. I'm going to make you feel like this, and then you will give that meaning, and then you will do such and such or not do it. So taking that step back and taking a pause and going, okay, let me just allow it, is putting on hold the whole, it means this. So as you feel that tingling, as you think about the bad results, then you feel the tingling and the heart rate increase and all of that, your brain, your conscious mind immediately and automatically is giving it the meaning that I'm scared because of the results. With that connection, right? Yeah. And as you do that, that's pumping more stress chemicals into your system. And so it becomes that vicious circle. But so zero tolerance is one way, and this is now another way, a new way that Steve has introduced, is that think about the bad results and notice what happens inside you, and then just allow it and just go, okay, it's there. It's okay. It's all right. I can sit here all day and feel this. And that's okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And then what you're doing is you're stopping that cycle of producing of thoughts and stress chemicals, You're just breaking that cycle and going, okay, we're going to stop right here and we're just going to allow, and it's okay. And I'm not dying. And I'm not going to die if I get the bad results, and it's okay. But even more than that is just literally allowing it right now in this moment, as much as it wants to be there.
Okay.
How does that sound and feel to you?
Yeah, so I use practicing the memories as well as the entity. So I did it with fear and as well as disappointment. So every time I thought about it, I just sent love to that entity wherever it was, on the shelf in the house.
Yes.
And that also, everything in combination helped. Good
job, Swasti. That's fantastic. So now let's see what we can achieve right here, right now. So, when you think of the bad results now, what is it? Let's say you think of the results on Thursday, and let's say the outcome is bad. What do you have happen inside you? So do you have a picture? Do you have a knowing? Do you have a sound, feeling? What's there when you think of it?
Well, like realistically, I'm going to get A, B, B. And that's not actually good enough for medicine, but it is for biomedicine. Unless I'm really lucky, then it might be good enough. But for biomedicine, I know I can even get like CCC and still get in.
Okay. So what's wrong with biomedicine?
There's nothing wrong with biomedicine. It's just that it's like 2 years more, and it's more hard work rather than harder.
Okay. And so when you say it's more hard work, what is that? What's the difference? What makes that hard work, whereas the other one isn't hard work? What is the difference there?
So
I don't know much about it.
I'll be just like going through the same process again in 2 years' time that I just did and didn't succeed in. And then I will also do the work that the medical students are doing. So I guess it's like more work layered on top of the basic work that you've got to do.
Okay. And this is work you don't like doing?
Oh no, I like studying. I like biology, learning.
What's wrong with having more of it if you like it?
Probably the pressure to achieve. And yeah, just actually, because it's not like everybody's guaranteed that. So you will go into biomedicine and then there'll be 200 people and 30 will make it transfer to medicine. But obviously it's a choice, like not everybody that wants to transfer, but that's the main aim that everybody comes with.
Right. And so if you, let's say you had to do biomedicine, what could you do to enjoy it? To really just, that it's just nice, it's just fun, you just enjoy it?
I don't know, I guess. I don't know, I think learning about it is actually quite fun. Like everything to do with, just disease and stuff.
Good job. So one of the things is, and this is for everybody, it's always about how you're looking at something and the meaning you're giving to it. Because in itself, it has no meaning. But as you think of, and there are people who just want to do biomedicine, right? As you said. So the way where you're looking is determining how you're feeling and your experience of it. So when you think of biomedicine, your brain is going somewhere, and it looks like your brain is going to, it's 2 years longer and it's hard work. Now, if your brain instead went to something you like about it, like the feeling of learning or doing the work, the interest of the research or whatever's involved, the actual parts of it that you love doing. So I'll give you an example, actually. So the neuroscience course that I did, now that was hard. That was hard for me, especially because I didn't even have a background in physics. I didn't learn physics in school, never mind anything else. So it was really from the very beginning that I was coming. And the whole of the first level was to do with electricity and how ions move and channels and all of that, and calculations. So algebra, problem solving. And so in my old life, like before I changed, I would have been thinking, oh, I can't, I don't know. It's so hard. I really want to do it. And I'm really interested. And I want the qualification, but it's so hard. I don't know. I don't have the background. I don't know what, anything about physics. I don't know anything about batteries, electricity or anything, because there was a lot of electrical references and things. Then I would not have I wouldn't have done it. I would have kept putting it off and I wouldn't have been looking forward to it. But instead, and there's a very specific thing that happens in the brain and body when you do this, and I'm going to explain that as well. Whenever I thought of the neuroscience course, my brain went to the very, very basic feeling of sitting there and reading or watching the videos. And I loved that. So it didn't go to the problem solving, it didn't go to the algebra, it didn't go to the electronics or the or the exam or the questions or anything like that. It went to, I'm looking forward to watching that next video because the videos are really good and it's so interesting.
Mm.
And I boiled it right down to that. Now, as you do that, as you boil right down to whatever it is that you do enjoy, stress chemicals come down, prefrontal cortex comes back online, and you're able to do everything else. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So then what happened is I got in front of the thing and I got my cup of coffee and I looked forward to it and I watched the video. And because I was in that calm state and I was only focused on what I was watching and listening to, and that was interesting to me, my prefrontal cortex was online, which meant I was absorbing a lot more and comprehending much better. And then when I did the questions, I was in that calm state. Now, when I couldn't understand something, so there were a couple of things that made no sense to me. And I thought, but that's not what they said. What they said was the opposite. This doesn't make sense. Instead of getting frustrated by focusing on the fact that it didn't make sense, I made the conscious effort to be calm, get another cup of coffee, and go back to the video and watch it again, and really, but focusing, here's the key, focusing on the enjoyment of it, feeling that, and using Superpower, of course, feeling that love for this activity.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And because it's doing a very physical thing in keeping your prefrontal cortex online. You have everything you need. You have everything you need to get the grades you want, to get the marks you want.
Yeah.
Just that because of the programming and the way your brain and body have been conditioned so far, that part of your brain keeps going offline.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about keeping that part of your brain online so that you're able to achieve what you want to achieve.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. I think for me, it's like the idea of reading the really thick books. It's really cool.
It's cool.
I just feel like I'm such a geek when I'm reading.
Great, that is wonderful.
So I will be using that.
That's perfect. And really, really amp up that feeling. So think about it more. Spend time thinking about sitting comfortably, reading this book, and the feeling of going through the book and everything you enjoy about it, the atmosphere of it.
Okay, yeah.
All right. And whenever your mind starts wandering to the things you don't like, or you're not going to enjoy, or you're worried about anything like that, bring it back to those beautiful big thick books and the feeling of reading them and how much you enjoy it, and really allow yourself to soak in those feelings of how much you enjoy it. And I'm going into, I'm kind of reiterating it also for other people. So for whatever each person's thing is, find something you really enjoy and keep redirecting to that. And then, as you do, so doing that with the idea of expecting, so I may have to do the biomedicine. Biomedicine. I may have to do that. And let's say I do that and I'm okay with that. That's wonderful. And in fact, because there's nothing you can do to change that score now, right? Anyway, because that's already done and the results are coming out on Thursday. So I would decide, you'd like to get the medicine one, but I would say spend some time going, you know what? It'll be nice to do the biomedicine. It just means I get to spend more time reading these big, thick books and enjoying them and enjoying the process, and make that conscious decision to enjoy whatever it is. And then if on Thursday those marks come out and you've got the bioscience thing, then you're prepared for it and you're looking forward to it, which is the most important thing. If it's the medicine, biomedicine, not bioscience, biomedicine. If it's the medicine one, bonus, right?
Okay.
But if you're hoping for the medicine one, then you're creating that experience of, I wish. And you want to not do that. You want to get very, not just comfortable, but enjoying whatever it is.
Okay. So I feel like, so with the medicine, I'm not really hoping, but I'm not even expecting, to be honest. No, I'm not expecting, but I am hoping.
Right.
So I just think like hoping brings positivity, but I think it just keeps me stressed.
Exactly.
Okay, so I'll
Exactly.
focus on bio.
And it's kind of like gambling.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's so some people, you can become addicted to it as well because of the dopamine hit. There's that, oh, I hope, will it, won't it, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
And you don't want to live in that state because
Mhm.
that's, you know, that's at the mercy of something outside of you. You want to keep choosing your state. Regardless of what happens, maybe I don't get any of them, but I choose to feel this.
Yeah. And also the biomed course is in London, and even though I might not be going there like in these circumstances in September, but I'm pretty sure in January or something I will be there. That's quite cool as well. London is very nice. Well, I want to study in London. I don't know if it was nice for everybody, but
Yeah.
yeah.
And the more you then allow whatever option it is, you'll start to realize, you'll start to notice more and more things that actually that would be quite nice. And actually, but while we're looking at what we wish we could have and we don't want something else, then we're not looking at the good stuff here. We're just going, I wish I had this. So that's a great example.
Okay.
Good job,
Yeah.
Swasti. I feel like I could burst with pride for you.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you, really.
Yeah, it's quite surprising to see like how far I have come, essentially, with your help, obviously. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Steve, thank
It's
you.
such a pleasure because you're such a joy, such a pleasure, and such a great example. So it really is lovely to be able to be a part of it.
Well, thank you.
Of course, you're very welcome. And let me just check now how you're feeling about your parents.
Well, my dad was like, well, he actually said a week ago, about a half a week ago, that, you know, if you don't get the grades, then it's fine. You don't have to take a year out. If you don't want to, you can just do the biomedicine.
Great. And how does that feel?
Yeah, it feels okay now.
Good.
Yeah, it's quite cool.
Good. And so that's what I want to check as well, is how does it feel about him, his reaction? So not just what he said, but also about just the feeling of how that relationship feels now.
Well, this a reference comes in my head now, which was well, like a changed one. So you did the hard work in school, and then you get the grades, but you've done what you were supposed to do, so it doesn't matter what you got.
Good.
Like, you gave it all that you could
Yes.
without giving up, and that's all that matters.
Fantastic. Good job, Swasti. I'm so thrilled for you and so proud of you.
It took a while to change, like 2 months.
That's okay. But that's okay. And because, you know, it's not just that it took a while to achieve this. This is a foundation for everything moving forward.
Yeah,
so it takes longer to build the foundation of a house than it does to build the rest, right? And you're building a foundation now for the rest of your life. Sound good?
Yeah, definitely.
Good job, sweetheart. You're very welcome. Thank you so much for sharing here. We really appreciate it.
Your help.
You're very welcome. All right. And Katrina. Hi, Katrina.
Hi, Odille.
Hey, how are you today?
Yeah, I'm sitting with a feeling or a sensation that has come up since the work we done yesterday. And it's relating, actually, Swasti had, I think, it yesterday, disappointment.
Uh-huh.
So, what do you call it? I just want to know how to flip this, in that all my life disappointed that the romance life did not happen.
Okay.
I had this thing in my head, you know, and I just want to sort of flip it now. I'm ready to flip it. I don't know what to flip it to, as in, how can you flip that to whatever you're going to say it will do?
Okay, very good. All right, so let's look at, how do you know that the romance thing didn't happen?
Well, I have the facts and the figures and the data
Okay.
to prove.
Okay, so what is it about, so you presumably you have an idea of what you would like to have had happen, and then that's not what happened. Is that right?
Yes, I lived in the world of make-believe land, you know, the big estate, the horses, the lake, the tennis, you
Right.
name it, all of it.
Okay, very good. And so, two parts here. So the first thing is, of course, bearing in mind that the brain doesn't know the difference between reality and imagination. The truth is that we could sit in a room anywhere with our eyes closed and imagine that we have all of that. And as long as you allow that and you don't interrupt it with but, and other things, your brain and body will go into exactly the same physiological chemical state it would if you did have all that. So you would feel the feelings of that. That's one thing. Okay. But now let's look at the fact that you haven't got it. So how does it feel that you don't have that stuff?
It's 1,000,000% disappointing.
Okay, so disappointing.
I believed in it or something, yeah.
Okay, very good. So the fact that you believed in it, what does it mean to you that you believed in it and you don't have it? What does that mean?
I don't know. It just comes back to, I just lived in that world. I was brought up in watching, you know, the romantic films, and I just presumed, I just assumed that this is how life was going to be. I didn't grow up. You know what I mean? I never snapped out of the trance of.
Mm-hmm. And what's wrong with that?
What's wrong with not breaking out of it?
Yes.
The trance? Well, it's too disappointing to stay there.
Okay. And so what does it mean that you haven't broken out of the trance? So because if you hadn't broken out of the trance, then you wouldn't have the disappointment, because as far as you were concerned, you would still be getting it.
Okay, I've said that backwards.
Okay.
The trance was broken a long time ago.
Right.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah. I was snapped out of it very, I suppose, abruptly, as in, I thought this is going to be really, you know, wonderful, happy and true, and bang.
Good. Okay, that's where it is then. So that feeling, so there you thought it was all going to be happy and true, and then bam, what does that mean to you? Because here's what I'm trying to say is that you know, I thought I would become a game ranger. I thought I'd become a game ranger, and I thought as a child I did, and then I didn't do that, but that was just a fact of life, and then I moved on to something else. So what is it, we're looking for the meaning that it has, because you could have just gone, okay, so that's not how it is, moving on, next. But of course, it means something, and that's why you aren't able, or you weren't able to just go, okay, well, next thing.
Well, I believed that this was
yes,
genuine and true.
Very good. And so the fact that you believed it and it turned out not to be, what's there? That's where the thing is. It's not about the details, but it's about that feeling of, but I believed, and then it didn't turn out to be true. So what's feeling is that, or what does it mean?
Well, is it I was betrayed?
Betrayed. Very good. So now I want you to sit with that feeling of betrayal. Can you feel it now?
Yeah.
Good. Good. Now, again, like I was doing Swasti, notice what's happening inside you. Become curious. What does this feeling of betrayal feel like? If you were to describe it, so if I wanted to feel it, what would you tell me to, how would you tell me to do it?
It's like a churning sensation, rapidly.
Very good.
Sort of,
So now I want you to allow that churning sensation. Just allow it. Just sit there with it. You're not dying. You're not going to die. It's just, you're just sitting there with this feeling and you're allowing that churning sensation and you're just observing it. Can you do that?
well, I have no choice.
Well,
I'm stuck
yes,
in the middle of it. Yeah.
So the choice is that you can fight it, you can resist it, you can judge it, or you can relax and allow it and just go, fine, it's okay. It's okay to just feel this. So that's the choice that we're looking at now.
Okay.
Are you able to make that choice of, and if you're not, that's okay, you can just say, but are you able to make that choice of, okay, we're just going to allow this now. And it's okay.
Yes, but it's that powerful that I would have no choice. When it comes, it just overrides everything. Yeah.
Right. But where you do have the choice is how you see it. So how you are judging it. So the feeling, that churning feeling, a feeling of disappointment or betrayal, all of that, if you were to just allow it and go, fine, I'm just going to sit here and feel it, and it's okay to feel it, as opposed to labeling it as, you know, it means this and other thoughts that come. So in other words, you're separating yourself. You have no choice because it's there. I get that. But then what if you just allow it to be there?
Okay. Yes.
You're able to do that?
Yes, I think so. Yes.
Good job.
Why not?
Exactly. Why not? It's there anyway. You might as well stop arm wrestling it.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So allowing it to be there and just noticing what happens. So as you go, as you say to this feeling, it's okay. It's okay to be here. It's okay to do what you do. I'm not going to try and stop you. You're all right. What happens then?
Well, she's sort of settling down, I suppose.
Good. Very good. And just observe as that feeling settles down, and hold that space. Hold that space and allow it to do whatever it does. And by holding that space, you're holding your ground. Pardon?
I'm telling someone else, don't touch it.
That's all right. That's good. That's all right. And so...
Oh my God. Shut up.
Tell them we said hi. Tell them we said hi. All right. So, oh, there you are. So, okay. So now looking at this, observing this feeling, what's it doing now?
It's ready to fight.
Allow it to fight.
Mm.
So here's the wonderful thing. Have you ever, and this is for everybody, have you ever been in a situation where someone has been trying to argue with you and you just haven't risen to the bait, but you don't feel, it's no effort, you just sit there going, yeah, okay. And they just keep going, and you could sit and watch them all day. Have you ever been in that situation?
No.
Okay. Or if you imagine someone's hitting a ball to you because they want to play and you don't want to play, so you just don't hit it back. You're watching TV or you're reading a book and they just keep hitting, and they could hit that ball all day, but it's just not something you're interested in. Or you could just watch them. So this is what we want to do, is we want to not engage as in arm wrestle with it or hit the ball back to it. Just allow. So it's there, it's ready to fight. That's great. Let it fight. Can you feel that?
Yeah.
And what happens next?
If you stop the, I don't believe, if you, what do you call it? If I stop the talking, I'm still left with the sensation.
Yes. Good. Okay.
Yeah.
So now that sensation, you got that sensation?
Yes.
Okay. And what happens if you just allow that sensation? It's there. You don't have to talk to it or talk about it. You don't have to explain it or label it. It's just there.
Okay.
So where are your hands at the moment? Have you got your hands resting on anything at the moment? Your right hand.
We're here?
Yep. What's it resting on right now? Or your elbow, whichever, your arm, your elbow. You got something there, your chair, the arm of your chair?
Yeah. The edge of the table, yeah, I can rest my elbow, yeah.
So notice that feeling, that sensation of your elbow on the table.
Yeah.
You can feel that feeling, you can feel that sensation.
Yes, yes.
Good. So the sensation of whatever the emotions are is just like that. You don't have to give meaning to the sensation of your elbow on the table. It just means your elbow's on the table. Meh. It doesn't mean anything, right? And so whatever sensation is happening, heart rate, stomach, throat, chest, whatever's going on, it's just a sensation, just like your elbows touching the table. It's the meaning we give to the thing. It's the meaning we give to the feeling. Now, if, like me, you were brought up with a clout for putting your elbow on the table, you might react, that might have a meaning for you.
Okay.
But it doesn't have a meaning for you, right?
No, no.
So that sensation can be the same. In exactly the same way you focus on that feeling of your elbow on the table, you can focus on the sensation, whatever that sensation is, because emotions are physical feelings. We don't see them that way because we label them, but it's a sensation, just like an itch or a elbow on the table. And so we pull back and stop giving it meaning. Just take the meaning out of it and allow it to be there. Just like you allow your table to rest on your elbow.
Yeah.
For your elbow to rest on your table. Can you do that?
That's really good, Odille.
Good.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah.
Good job. Very, very good, Katrina. Okay, so that's really well done for doing that. And now we want to look into your childhood and say, okay, so that feeling of betrayal, that feeling of I believed and then it turned out not to be true, whatever that is, then you want to find that in your childhood and change it, because it's not about that romantic relationship. It's coming from your childhood. So what made you attracted to the person? What made you maintain and create that kind of relationship, whatever it is, what attracted you to that person, what helped you create it co-create that situation with them, whatever it is the childhood references. Now you change those and then other things will change. So there's no reason you can't have everything you wanted back then. But you'd have to change the childhood memories so that they match that. So the whatever it is you would have liked, the romantic thing, the horses, the whatever that is, that's the destination you'd like to get to. But in order to reach that destination, you need to make sure that the GPS coordinates are set to that destination, and they haven't been.
Okay.
Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
so you've got that and how that feels, the thing you want, the destination. Then you go to your childhood and your parents' childhood, so your generational childhoods and yours, and you do whatever it takes, you create whatever memories back there that match the destination, that feel the same as that destination. So that your whole childhood feels like the horses and the property and the whatever, and your parents had that romantic relationship that you want. All of that matches. It's all in the same timeline.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Make sense?
Yes. Uh-huh. Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Good job. All right. So how do you feel now?
Yes, I feel a lot calmer. Oh my goodness, because I was like an atomic bomb there.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's understandable. Understandable, because that's the stress chemicals. That's, you know, that's survival state. So it can be overwhelming. Very good. So, but now you know how to control, how to take the wheel and gain control of the vehicle, or the vehicle if you're American.
Oh, okay. Right.
All right.
Yeah, thanks a million, Odille. Oh my goodness.
You
Fantastic.
are so very welcome, Katrina. And thank you for sharing it again, because the process will be so useful for others as well. And I'm so proud of you as well. Good job, you. All right. Very good. Was there anything else? Any other questions before I move to?
No, that's perfect.
All
right. Thank you.
Thank you, Katrina. All right. Oops. Unmuted you by accident. And Amy, you're next up on my screen. Oh, I love your top. That's very nice.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Beautiful. You're a little bit soft, sweetie. Can you turn up your sound?
Yeah. Can you hear me okay, or not much?
Great. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Well, I've been doing some work behind the scenes. I'm not able to always be on the call visibly and such because I'm working in the background. But my question, I asked Steve behind the scenes, and I didn't know if there was time today, but you talked a lot about zero tolerance earlier, which was very helpful. But what's coming up for me is I'm denying myself if I don't feel the feelings, because in my past, I couldn't ever feel anything other than look like I was happy. So so I just pretty much suppressed everything. And now today, if I'm feeling something, then I don't want to deny myself, but yet I resist it to stay in that feeling. So when you say zero tolerance, I don't know how to keep going back to that, not staying in the stress chemical. So.
Yes, I completely get that. So that is a really great point, and it is another great reason for this new technique.
Okay.
Because, so for most people, or maybe not most people, I don't know, but a lot of people, certainly a lot of people we come into contact with, feeling negative emotions is the issue.
Right.
And they find it difficult not to. Now, with you, and I get it as well, because I also swung the other way, because we were also not allowed to feel upset or angry, and perhaps that's the case for a lot of people. And so I also then swung the other way to express myself. But that's not, because we think that's the thing to do. But what that is that's that child finally going, you know what? I now get to do this. I am alive, and you know, that's a natural thing. So here's what but the problem with that is there's that back and forth, because it's still not, you know, so it's not like expressing it is solving all the problems.
Right.
Even the emotional problems. So what we want to do is get the control and the freedom without the negative knock-on effects. And so that's why this process is really extra powerful. So ideally with zero tolerance, we do want to catch it straight away. Now, in this case, what I'm going to suggest is the zero tolerance is about being aware and recognizing, and then doing the allowing.
Okay. So take a minute to be aware, and then Okay.
Right.
Recognize.
So if you give me an example of a negative feeling that you would feel, I want to allow myself to feel this.
Sure. Well, fear comes in throughout the day on different things I think about. Like I have to go to a dental appointment tomorrow and get some work done, or daily I think about my health. Fear comes up, and then I kind of stay in that on that same track. Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. So that's a great example. So let's take the dentist for a moment. So you've got the dentist tomorrow.
Right.
And as I say, dentist, can you feel anything?
Yes, right in my stomach. I'm like, ooh, I have a hour and a half drive. I'm going to a more natural dentist. While I'm happy about the choice I made, it's just like, oh, I have an hour and a half drive to get there. What if something goes wrong? Yeah, I start down that path.
Very good. Okay. So where the zero tolerance comes in this example, and catering it for you, for your background of I'm not allowed to feel, and now I want to allow myself to feel.
Right.
The zero tolerance is about, so it's being zero tolerance of allowing yourself to get sucked into it. So what you're going to do is, instead of getting sucked into it, and instead of trying to not feel it and push it away, you're going to become aware. So in this case, becoming aware of it is catching that first cockroach.
Okay.
You're going to become aware. I'm getting waves of goosebumps as I'm saying this. Okay, so you're going to become aware, and then you're going to allow. So you're going to go, so I'm scared. And instead of going, oh, I've got an hour drive and something goes wrong, you're going to just go, it's okay to feel scared. It's okay to feel this fear right now. Allow the fear to be there. Can you do that right now as we're talking?
Yeah, it's like when we allowed that, it's like a fluffy little blanket came in and said, okay, you're okay. Yeah, it's like, yeah, I felt that little blanket in my stomach.
Fantastic. So that's what you're going to do. And the zero tolerance is about catching it and doing that straight away, as soon as you can, as soon as you become aware of it, so that you're not wrestling with it and you're not playing with it. I'm
not denying it because I've already put the little blanket on it, but
you're not denying it.
Right. Because then I feel like I'm denying myself if I don't handle it. Yes.
Exactly. So you're not denying it, you're just allowing it. So you're doing exactly the opposite of what was done to you as a child. You are allowing.
Okay, great.
Yes?
Yes, definitely. And then once you allow it more, it's like, okay, it just kind of dissipates versus wrestling it to the ground.
Exactly. And because what's physiologically happening is, that decision to allow, as opposed to trying to stop it, as you allow, you're bringing down the stress chemicals already that are causing it.
Okay, got it. Okay.
And you're starting to allow the feel-good chemicals. And then then you can, once you feel ready, once you feel like the blanket's been on long enough and everything, it feels fine, then you can either or go ahead with ask it what it needs. So, what do you need? Or and maybe the blanket is what it needs, and that's okay.
Okay.
All right.
So, like I can think about, okay, well, I could put in a audio CD on my drive, or I can,
and that is exactly what I was going to say.
Right.
That's right. And because, so then my suggestion was, what could you do for that hour? What books could you listen to?
Right.
What could you enjoy? What could you do to enjoy that process?
Yes.
So because you've already brought down those stress chemicals and you've brought your prefrontal cortex back online, you came up with that straight away.
Yes, got it. Okay, right. So
but because the blood had drained from that part of your brain before, while you were feeling fear, the thought didn't occur to you, the idea didn't occur to you yet. Makes sense. So that's a great example of prefrontal cortex being online or offline.
Okay.
So that's great. So then the next thing is, what's the worst thing about the dentist? What are you worried about most? So there's the hour drive, but if you're going to enjoy it, that's okay. You can
I can take the book on CD, whatever.
Nice.
the worst part about the dentist, I picked him because he's a biological one, and he's going to save my tooth instead of putting a crown on it. But the worst part is there's decay, the thinking about how did that happen? So there's decay, and there's this clean out process that he has to do first, and I don't want to have a root canal. So, because I've had a bad one in the past. So it's basically just the fear of the worst thing that could happen. So.
Okay, very good. So plenty there. So first of all, when you say there's the decay and how did that happen, what does it mean to you to have that decay?
Right. That the meaning I've given it is, I'm clean with my teeth. I do, but I look at the health symptoms, and I look at the stress that I've carried in my body, in my thinking and past stuff that now I have to deal with the fallout of that, so to speak. Like, I grind my teeth at night, and so I'm thinking that was part of the process of, I blame it on the past, let's just say it like it is. So
yes,
right.
okay,
Yeah.
very good. So good job, well done, Amy. You're doing very well. So you're blaming it on the past. Now, can you change the past? So if you were able to go back in time and do it differently, you would, of course, you would, with that knowledge. But the knowledge you had and the resources you had and the experiences you were going through, you didn't do it on purpose, right? You didn't think, I'm going to do this stuff to get decay, right? Okay.
No.
So there's no reason to blame.
No, right, exactly. It just what happened. It's what I did what I could at the time, and I didn't know that.
Exactly. That's perfect. And now let's do this. So the decay, the past, whatever you did in the past, what emotions are there as you think of it?
There's regret. There's this feeling of lost time, I think, just age, and there's just regret of I wish I would have had a different experience, but I know I can't go back. So there's this feeling of regret and just
very
loss.
Good.
Yeah, loss.
Yes. So I'm seeing a link to your childhood stuff straight away with the regret and the loss and that kind of thing. Yeah. But first of all, let's just sit with the regret for a moment. So the same as with the fear, allow the regret. Feel the regret and just allow it to be there. Can you do that?
Yeah, that's really heavy.
Yes, it's heavy. Yeah. Good. So now allow it as if you're allowing a child to feel something, and just be there and just go, it's okay. It's okay to feel this heaviness. Can you do that?
Yes.
Good job. Very good. And what happens as you do that? Does it stay the same or is it different?
No, it's settling down. It feels like I'm relaxing into it.
Very good. Good job. And so because, with negative emotions, there's a bit of a tug of war that goes on, because on one hand, we want to feel the emotion. On the other hand, we're in it and there's plenty of reasons to feel it. On the other hand, we're trying not to feel it. And so there's all this tension going on. And as soon as you go, you know what? It's allowed. You're okay. You're all right. Because that tension, that tug of war that goes on is about survival. And we're in that state as if we're going to die unless we sort this out. Right. And as soon as you go, it's okay. I'm not going to die. I can sit here with this feeling and it's okay. Then bring the stress chemicals down.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. And I think I've been in stress chemicals so much throughout my life that normal things that people going to the dentist or a job interview, I get a little anxious, but I try to resist it because it's like, well, I don't want to keep that familiar feeling going. So I'm trying to do the opposite in those, normal situations. So
that's it. And so that's why this new technique is so powerful, because doing the opposite means allowing it.
Yes.
Because yes, you've done it before, you've danced with it, you've engaged with it before, and now you've been trying not to engage with it, not to allow it. But now just allowing it that's a very different perspective, right? And a very different experience.
Definitely. Yes, definitely. Mm.
Good job. Very good. And it puts you in control. It puts you in the driver's seat. So you can go, I am choosing to allow this. It's
Yeah.
my business. It's my business if I allow it or not, and I'm choosing to allow it.
Mm. And then it'll just dissipate and then, yeah, right. Okay.
And if it doesn't just dissipate, you can then ask it, what do you need?
What do you need?
What
Right.
did you
Okay.
need? And
Okay.
you can do the Ho'oponopono if you like. You know, I'm sorry,
Okay.
please forgive me. I'm sorry for rejecting you all this time,
Okay.
but now I'm allowing you and I love you and all of that. And sometimes, and for me, it switches to unconditional love immediately, allowing that feeling, loving it unconditionally.
Okay.
And that's another level again.
Okay.
All right. And so,
go ahead. Yep.
no, you go ahead. It's all right.
The second part of my question was health symptoms. If you experience them, daily or nightly or whatever I do, I'm really trying to just allow it, but there's still some fear behind it because I think, well, what if I'm missing something? What if, doctors are missing something, that stress chemical is still going on. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and so let's look at that. And you are not alone. There are plenty of people who have that. So let's. I think it's. I know we're running out of time,
Yes,
but I think this is really important for so many people that if that's okay, I'm going to carry on. Amy, so when you think of the health symptoms, and let's say the doctors are missing something, and you're missing something,
right?
What is the worst that can happen? What's the thing you're most worried about, you're most frightened of?
The worst is probably dying, feeling like I'm going to die and unlive life.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. And so
I want to enjoy the second half of my life, and I feel like I'm going to die in the meantime. So.
Right, very good. And that's a perfect one, makes perfect sense. So now let's look at what's wrong with dying before you've lived this second half of your life.
There's just so many things that I still want to experience, whether it's getting married, owning my home again. So there's these dreams that I want to fulfill, and I want to give back to others. And so I just have this conception in my head that the dreams that I want to fill won't be filled. So it feels like a loss. Mm-hmm.
Yes, there you go. So this is great work. Well done. So now let's look at, let's say you die. So you haven't fulfilled your dreams, because I'm seeing a link, but I want to make sure that that's what it is and that I'm not projecting. So let's say you die, you haven't achieved, you haven't got married, you haven't got your house, you haven't helped others and done all of that. Then what? So what?
Well, I would live a good legacy in my, next life.
Right. And so what is it what does it mean to you if you died now and you didn't get to live that?
It's probably something from my childhood. Like I feared death because it was just so scary. It was like a death to, a survival with the parents, and it was a death to self. I remember I'd cry at like a show like Marcus Walby. Some of you don't remember that probably, but I would see someone die on the show and it was like I would start crying inside. So wherever that came from, I don't know. There was just like this fear of not being around, or I don't know.
Good. And so what would happen if you weren't around? So actually, before you answer that, let me ask you, what do you believe happens when you die?
Yeah, that's the quandary there, because I want to believe that there's I do believe in God and whatnot, and I want to believe that there's an afterlife, but I haven't been there, so I don't know.
Yeah. All right. So how do you know there is an afterlife? What makes you think there might be one?
Well, from things I hear and from what I read, and yeah.
And so when you think of that afterlife, what does it feel like?
That it will be a good experience.
And what's your understanding of God? Just briefly.
Yeah, I grew up Catholic, but I'm now, more non-denominational. But I have a hard time trusting God completely, because it's like a giving up of relying on self. that out of control, that giving up control feeling. So, but yeah.
Okay. And so what if you started to see a partnership with God? So rather than giving up or fully relying or not relying or anything like that, what if it's a partnership? And so what if God is trying to help you, but you can't because, so you got to, if it's a partnership, each person's got to do their bit.
Yes, got it. Okay, right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think yesterday I felt like I heard him say, which I don't hear a lot, but it was like, looking back at my childhood photos, it's like, live the life that you were meant to be from your childhood. And, so I heard that message last night when I was doing dishes. So yeah, it was pretty profound. But.
And here's the thing, because we're only ever in the present, we're only ever in this very moment. While you are worried about dying, you're not living.
I'm not living, correct. Yes.
So you don't want to die because you want to still do stuff. But while you're worrying about dying, you're not doing the stuff.
No, I'm not. I'm letting health hold me back. So that's the, yeah.
Yes. And so, and of course, I know that that the stress chemicals are not helping you heal.
Oh, right.
So one of the things that will help now is when you think of those symptoms, what emotions come up now?
More like I will heal. It's just, takes time. That the comfort myself versus.
Good. Very good. And reassure yourself. So that's good. Okay. And then give me an example of one of the symptoms that bothers you most.
Well, when I wake up, like during the night, I have this, and I know I've talked to Steve about it before, but I have this acid reflux for years where when I wake up in the night, it's like I have to sleep upright or my stomach will burn, and I've done so much work around it that it's still there. So I feel like I'm still missing something. I was told years ago that my stomach muscle doesn't close properly, and that affects my eating and sleeping. So that's a big one. Yeah.
That's a big one. Okay. So let's look, what does acid reflux mean to you? The fact that you've got this acid reflux, the fact that you've worked on it so much and you still get it and you have to sleep upright. What does any or all of that mean to you?
It means that I'm defective somehow, and that it's not healthy to be experiencing that every day. So somehow it's affecting me and my well-being. So I'm still resisting it.
Good job. Now, what if you were to just allow it? Because it's not, resisting it is not stopping it anyway, right?
Oh, it's not stopping it, right?
Right. So what if you were to just allow it? So when it happens, what if you were to just take it as like it's raining? It's raining, you can't make the rain stop, but you can get an umbrella out, or you can postpone a trip or whatever. So the acid reflux comes, you can't make it stop, but you can sit up, you can sleep up, or whatever those steps you take.
Yes.
But and so you're still taking the steps, but you're taking them with an attitude of allowing rather than whatever goes with the fighting it.
Right, because I feel like I'm different somehow, like I'm defective in that way where it's like I don't want to have to do all these alternative measures. I just want to live my life, simply. And so we're all different in various ways, and there are people who have differences. Yeah, exactly.
So it's not that you are the only one. So it's good to remind yourself of that and go, sure, maybe I'm different in this way or some way, but that's okay. It's okay to be different and allow that feeling of different.
Okay, got it.
And different doesn't mean defective.
No, it doesn't. It just this out of control feeling, like when we talked about that, and then I'm wondering, did that affect the teeth? And so it's just this not the resisting that feeling out of control, I guess.
Yes. And then, of course, childhood.
Yes.
So the links I'm seeing there are also living your life moving forward, making the most of it now to make up for your childhood.
Yes. Make
Right.
up for it. Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So then you can make sure that you have changed the childhood, practice it,
Yep.
make sure that it's that new childhood is really strong and solid, as well as allowing those feelings, and use the combination there.
Okay, and I did a due justice letter to my dad, and what was neat about it is in the end I could see him as a child playing, and that was really helpful, but I know I still need to do more as far as my family. So yeah.
Yes, get it all out, get it all, because the infection in your tooth, or the decay in your tooth, whatever's going on there, the acid reflux, all the other symptoms are that anger, resentment,
Right.
fury,
Yeah.
unfairness,
Unfair.
lost childhood, and everything just being held in and just expressing in all these physical ways.
Right.
So
it's like holding back my feelings when I was younger. It's that same.
exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And the acid reflux would make perfect sense as a manifestation of that, or as an expression of I'm not allowed to speak.
Right. Yes.
Or I'm
Got
not
it.
allowed to feel. I'm not allowed to express my
Okay.
emotions. That makes perfect
Okay.
sense.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So be sure to create memories of you expressing the hell out of yourself, child,
Yes.
and your parents encouraging you. Well, what do you think, sweetheart? Oh, I'm
Okay.
so sorry. And acknowledging your feelings, allowing your feelings, actually not just allowing, but encouraging.
Okay.
I want to hear what you think, what you feel,
Yeah.
everything, all the validation that you should have had as a child. Make sure that you create those memories.
Okay.
All
Great.
right.
Thank you so much for taking the extra time. I really appreciate it.
You're very, very welcome, Amy, and thank you for sharing this and being vulnerable and open, because the reason I felt it was definitely worth taking the extra time, of course, for you anyway, but also because I know it will help so many others, not just on this call, but also watching the recording.
Yes.
It's because it is this stuff is you know, a lot of people experience similar things, bits and pieces, and that kind of thing. So
right, and we deal with it in silence, and we don't. Yeah, it's hard to share at times with others. Yeah.
Exactly. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And good job, you. I'm very proud of you. Very excited for you.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, sweetheart. All right. So Steve, I'm sorry for going over, but
no, it's okay. Yeah, we have a couple of really good questions that we've been chatting, and we'll put those on tomorrow.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Would you send me the target?
Yes, I will.
Thank you. And let's begin. All right. So take a deep breath and either close your eyes or leave them open, whichever you prefer. And go into your superpower state, however you do that. So using your word or phrase, or your anchor, or by homing in on what you love and appreciate about your subject. Allow yourself to start to feel that love, that appreciation, and start to feel the opening in your heart, that expansion feeling in your chest. Allowing that light, that energy to shine out from you. Very good. Now allow that light or energy to spread down to your toes, up to the top of your head, and out to your fingertips. So you're now full of that light, that energy, that love. Good job. And now allow that light or energy to fill your subject and everything you love about them. And then imagine that your subject doesn't want to be with you, or they don't have the qualities that you love and appreciate in them. Very good. And keep them filled with that love, that light, that energy. Keep them filled with that anyway. Good job. And now allow that light, that energy to fill Amy from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Amy just for existing. Very good. And allow that light, that energy to fill Amy's tooth, her jaw, whatever's there. Love it all exactly as it is, without needing it to change. And then allow that light, that energy to fill tomorrow's Amy on her way to the dentist, loving her exactly as she is as she goes to the dentist. Fill the Amy that is at the dentist with that same light, that energy, loving her exactly as she is and no matter what happens. And allowing that light, that energy to overflow from that Amy at the dentist and fill the whole dentist place and the dentist and everyone involved with that light, that energy, that love, loving it all exactly as it is and shining light into any darkness. And then the Amy afterwards, fill that Amy with the same light, that energy, that love, exactly as she is and no matter what. Feeling that power, that light, that energy, shining that light into any darkness, loving it all. Very good job. And now to Lisa. Fill Lisa with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Lisa, just for existing. And allow that light, that energy to overflow from Lisa and fill the financial situations and circumstances and events for everyone. And all her family members. Fill everyone, everything with that same light, that energy, whether they find peaceful solutions or not. Love it all anyway, exactly as it is. Shining that light into any darkness, feeling that power. Very good. And now to Swasti. Fill Swasti with that same light, that energy, that love. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Swasti, just for existing. And thank you, Swasti, for your target. That's very sweet of you. So allow that light, that energy to overflow from Swasti and fill my bad news with it. The person involved, the circumstances, the situation, and no matter what happens. Love it all anyway, love him anyway, no matter what. Filling with that light, that energy, that love, shining the light into any darkness. Very good, and thank you, Swasti. That's very sweet of you, sweetheart. And now to Cheryl. Fill Cheryl with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Cheryl, just for existing. Very good. And allow that light, that energy to overflow from Cheryl and fill her mother, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Cheryl's mother, just for existing. Shining that light into any darkness and loving it all exactly as it is, no matter what, and without needing it to change. No expectations, just love. Very good. And I want to come back to Swasti. Fill Swasti with that same light, that energy, that love, just for existing. Now allow that light, that energy to overflow from Swasti and fill the exam results on Thursday, whatever they may be, no matter what, shining that light into any darkness. And allow that light, that energy, to fill that Swasti. The Swasti on Thursday, Thursday Swasti. Fill Thursday Swasti with that light, that energy from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love that Swasti, just for existing, and no matter what those results are, keep her filled with that light, that energy, that love. And the same with everyone involved, her parents, anyone else involved. Love it all anyway, exactly as it is, no matter what, and shining that light into any darkness. Very, very good. And now to everyone who's off camera today, and anyone watching the recording, fill everyone with that light, that energy, that love. Love each one just for existing, no matter what, exactly as they are. Very good. And now think of yourself later today. Fill that version of you with that same light, that energy, that love. No matter what you'll be experiencing or feeling or doing, love that version of you exactly as you are, shining light into any darkness. Very, very good. And then pick a target in your life or in the world and love that. Shine that light into that darkness, filling it with that light, loving it anyway, exactly as it is, feeling your power amp up as you're able to do that. And feeling how much you're protected by this light, this energy. As long as you are shining it out, it's protecting you. Like taking a torch into a dark room, shining out from you, all around you. Very good job. And you can open your eyes if you have them closed. And any comments, or you're very, very welcome, sweetheart. It's literally my pleasure, and I'm so proud of you. Very, very good. And yes, so we will be back here, same time, same place tomorrow. And thank you all for being here. We love you all very much, and we're very proud of you. And do, of course, share these videos with those you feel would be helped, would find it beneficial. That would be wonderful. And we'll see you tomorrow. Look after yourselves. Keep practicing. Bye-bye now. Bye.